Hello, good afternoon, friends. Meeting after a long time, and today is a Sunday. I decided that why not to discuss something with all of you? Why not to share something which is there with me, with all of you, so that it will be beneficial for all of you? So, I decided to share a case from which I have learned a lot. It was a case of a muscular dystrophy brought to me, and there were certain few very important things which I observed in the patient. It was a diagnosed case treated by a number of allopaths since long time. He is a child, nearly about 7-8 years of old, and he was not able to walk properly, not able to sit properly. He cannot cross leg, he cannot extend his legs. If he walks like this, that the knees are touching each other, and he walks like that. This is a very typical thing which I observed in the case. Otherwise, the case was very similar to other muscular dystrophies. So, question was there with me, what to do with such a case where there are no characteristics, only things what are observable features in that case are very important for me. It was a case of diagnosed case of anterior and lateral sclerosis of the spinal cord, because of which they diagnosed this is the reason because of which the patient had a muscular dystrophy. He has a weakness, and in the lower extremities he is not able to function properly, and he is not able to walk properly. Generally, when such cases of cases comes to you, you have to observe a lot, because here you never get symptoms more, here you get the signs more. So ask them, let us just see, I just ask him to walk. So they made him stand first with support, and then the child had asked to walk, and he was walking along with knees touching to each other and walking like this. And while walking, his heels were up. He was only walking on the toes. It was not on the heels. Heels were not touching to the floor. And he is walking only on the just on toes, with just like this. So there was a limping. It is a gait which is staggering gait. It is not a clear gait. And he finds it difficult to walk, and he asks immediately, no, I want to sit. I don't have a capacity. There is a weakness. So I have learned a materia medica properly, because I was treating number of muscular dystrophy cases since long time. Basically Duchenne muscular dystrophy I used to work a lot. So one remedy was there in my mind which has a typical picture of this, and I have considered that this is the best remedy to try this for this patient, because it is not this patient is not having a Duchenne variety. It was diagnosed clear-cut case of the paraspinal column degeneration, and because of which he was having the muscular dystrophy. So what to do? So I asked them to sit outside, and I worked out the remedy, and remedy found to be a well-known remedy to all of you, the Lathyrus sativus. In fact, I think Lathyrus sativus you know better when you have learned in the PSM, the Lathyrus sativus. It is basically, it is a dal, Keshri dal. It is called as a Keshri dal. There are different names according to different places, but this can be grown in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra, and Uttar Pradesh. And this dal is utilized for the purpose of eating. Generally, in the poor population, it looks like red or pink, and that's why what do? Generally, Those who are poorer, they takes it and eats it as a food. That dal itself is if consumed in excessive quantity, basically if 50 to 60 grams of dal every um, continuously for nearly about 4 to 6 months, if it is consumed, it used to produce a neurotoxicity. It contains a typical neurotoxin. The name of that neurotoxin is called as a beta N oxalyl aminoalanine, L-aminoalanine. This is a neurotoxin. It produces a disease which is called as neurolathyrism. We have learned that in PSM, I think so, it was 25 years back or 30, in fact 30, 34, 32 years back, what I have recollected over there in PSM. And if it is consumed for larger quantity, this neurotoxin produces a neuroexcitability over there, and that's why the excitement and a degeneration of the specifically the spinal canal, basically the anterior as well as the lateral columns, and producing a degeneration over there and producing its futures, which produces a typical exaggerated reflexes over there. So I consider this is the good one should learn, one should understand. So one should not one should not look towards only with the characteristic symptoms every time. You cannot get in pathological diseases. In pathological diseases you get much more signs and very less symptoms. You have to watch carefully. You have to find it out what exactly the problem is. So I read that from the Borix Materia Medica. I want to share that Borix Materia Medica picture of Lathyrus sativa so that you can learn about that, and then I will tell you exactly what happened after prescribing Lathyrus sativa. I have used it many times in my number of patients. It's a very good remedy in muscular dystrophies. It's very good remedy in Duchenne muscular dystrophy, because there are very number of features which matches with the muscular dystrophy. So I have utilized this remedy number of times in my practice. I have started right from 30, 200, 1M, even 1M, sometimes 10M I have used, and with very good results. And at least the persons can hold at that specific level, the degeneration stops. And that's why I want to share this remedy. I want to discuss this Materia Medica picture from the Borix Materia Medica so that all of you can understand it properly. So why not to learn it from the Borix Materia Medica? So Lathyrus sativa, which name is the chickpea, common name, it is also called as chickpea, common name, affects the lateral and anterior columns of the cord. That is very important. It affects the anterior columns as well as lateral columns of the cord. There are anterior, which is also called as ventral column, the lateral and the last posterior, that is called as the dorsal column of the. Every column of the spinal cord carries its own functions. Generally, lateral columns, they carries the sympathetic chain. They are related with the visceral layers and with the heart, with the gut, with the stomach, and messages transmits towards the brain, and anterior cells have action upon the motor functions. So Lathyrus affects the lateral and anterior columns of the cord, does not produce the pain. That is the very characteristic. Muscular dystrophy is there, but pain is lost. There is no pain. There is problem in standing, there is problem in walking, there is problem in sitting, there is a spasticity, and because of which they cannot extend their legs, they cannot fold their legs, they cannot stand properly, they stand like this, so they cannot stand properly. Reflexes are always increased. It is given in italics, and that is what it is a toxin which is there that used to produce a neuroexcitability, and that's why the reflexes are always increase. Paralytic affections of the lower extremities, spastic paralysis, lateral sclerosis. All words have their own meaning. Paralytic affections of lower extremities. Basically, it is lower extremity paralysis. The spastic paralysis, where spasticity is where much more. It is more common in Parkinson people. They generally have this Parkinson's feature. There is spasticity is more marked, and that because of that spasticity, they cannot extend their legs. They sleep on sides, but they cannot sleep on back. If they want to sleep, their knees are full. Lateral sclerosis. So lateral column there is sclerosis, and that's why number of times they lose the sensory functions also. Beriberi. Beriberi is a vitamin B1 deficiency, a thiamine deficiency, which is related with the neuropathy. This is again one of the feature which is explained over there. One more point which is explained over there is athetosis. The next word, slow, repeated, involuntary, purposeless vermicular muscular distortions involving the part of the limb, toes, fingers, or almost entire body. Especially this is a brain lesion which found to be there in the children, which is called as an athetosis. And such types of brain lesion is the part and parcel of this Lathyrus sativus. Infantile paralysis. See, this is very important. Paralysis which is develops in infant. You get this picture, typical picture in Lathyrus sativus. After influenza and wasting, exhaustive diseases where there is much weakness and heaviness. Slow recovery of the nerve power. And this is very, very common with the people who used to consume medicines which used to act on the nervous system, producing a neuropathy, and they recover very slowly. Specifically, after influenza, nowadays the influenza epidemic is going on. This COVID is a flu. It is, and for that the medicines which are used, generally used to produce a neuropathy. There is a lot of weakness. The patient is not able to walk. There is a sensory as well as motor level. They are having problems in their foot, specifically legs. They feels exhausted, and they are not coming out. A common example of my father is there, who suffered from this. He used to say that I'm feeling that I cannot touch my foot to the floor. It is so much numbed. Lathyrus, when I have given to him, he recovered from that and he was able to walk. It is post-COVID he got that. That's why after influenza and wasting, exhaustive diseases where there is much weakness and heaviness, slow recovery of the nerve power, this remedy plays very, very, very vital role. Sleepy but constant yawning. So person feels sleepy and there is continuous yawning is going on. This is again a generally post-influenza, you can find out such things over there. Mind, it is depressed, hypochondriacal. This depression is because of this neuropathy. Generally they are not able to function properly. That's why such type of depression or hypochondriasis will develop over there. Vertigo when standing with eyes closed. They cannot close their eyes. There is immediately a vertigo sensation which happens to be there. See, all neuropathic features you can find it out with this remedy. This is a good remedy in homeopathy which you can use any time. In fact, if you want to understand its pathophysiology, you can use it very easily in your practice. Mouth burning pain on the tip of the tongue with tingling and numbness of the tongue and lips as if scalded. There is some sensation that is neuropathic sensory. That's why tip of the tongue feels lot of burning as if lips are scalded. And then most important features lies in the extremities part of this remedy. Tips of the fingers are numb. This is a feature number of patient tells us, Dr. बोटांच्या टिपला, बोटांच्या टोकांना बधीर झाल्यासारखं होतं. It looks very, very numb feeling over there at the tip of the fingers. Tremulous tottering gait. See, compare it with the patients who are having generally Parkinsonism, and they see that their gait, they are trembling like this, and they walks like this. This is tottering gait, excessive rigidity of the legs, spastic gait, excessive rigidity. The muscles are becomes so rigid that they cannot lift it up, they cannot move it freely. Spastic gait, that's what it's called as spastic gait. They cannot walk straight, they walk like this. This is very typical with Lathyrus poisoning. Knees knock each other when walking करताना दोन्ही knees ते एकमेकांशी टेकतात. They comes close to each other and they walks like this, and that's why it's very difficult to walk. Cramps in legs, worse by cold and cold feet. There are cramps in legs because of cold and cold feet. Cannot extend or cross legs when sitting, and that is the problem with them. They cannot cross leg. They cannot sit properly. They cannot extend their legs. Myelitis with marked spastic symptoms. Myelitis, inflammation of a myelin sheath. And this myelin sheath is there with the nerve fibers which are there in the lateral columns or anterior columns. It carries in the white matter, and that myelin itself is white in color. That's why it is a white matter. And there is a problem of inflammation of it. Rheumatic paralysis. So it is paralysis associated with looks like rheumatism. Gluteal muscles and lower limbs emaciated. Upper half of the body is quite good, and lower part of the body it becomes emaciated. Basically at the level of gluteal muscles or at the level of a lower limb. Legs becomes blue, swollen as if hanging down. Legs feels it becomes bluish in color because it has action on vascular system also, and that's why vascular constriction and affects, and that's why blood stagnates number of times. Stiffness and lameness of the ankles and knees. Toes do not leave the floor. Very important. What he says? Stiffness and lameness of the ankles. Ankles stiffness. There is a lot of stiffness of ankles as well as knee. And toes do not leave the floor. So person stands on the toes, he walks on the toes, and second important thing, heels do not touch the floor. See, this is very important. Heels do not touch the floor, and he stands only on toes and walks on toes. Muscles of the calves very tense. Muscles of the calves are constricted, and that's because of that reason only he gets up. He cannot touch floor because he tries to force it. The muscles of the calf gets stretched. It is not possible. They become spastic. This is the picture which you can get in the muscular dystrophies. Patient sits bent forward. If they sit like this, bent forward. Straighten up with difficulty. If you ask them to become straight, it is very, very much difficult for them to get it straight. Urine, increased bladder reflex. They used to go for urination again and again, every time. Frequent, must hurry, else avoided, involuntary. If they are not able to go over there within time, immediately it can be passed involuntarily. And this is the picture of the Lathyrus sativus. I have used this remedy in number of patients. That fellow I have started with Lathyrus 30 in repeated doses. Nearly about for 15 days I have given, and when I saw him, there was lot of change happened after that. I have continued up to 200, then afterwards even 1M, and he found to be very good. He was able to at least walk with his own way without support. He started gaining the strength in lower extremities after giving the Lathyrus. And that's why this remedy generally overlooked by a number of people, generally not followed by a number of students, because it is not a common remedy in our day-to-day materia medica. But this remedy I have learned because I have treated one patient of motor neuron disease. I was treating at that time. I have read the Plumbum metallicum as well as Lathyrus sativus, and I have compared those remedies. For motor neuron disease, the Plumbum metallicum plays very vital role, because it has right from the brain to the spinal cord, the problems are there with Plumbum metallicum, and that's why Plumbum plays very vital role in motor neuron disease. Generally, whenever problem lies with the spinal cord more, specifically the anterior and lateral columns, then the things are better with the Lathyrus sativus. And for that purpose, my suggestion is always that you must have the thorough knowledge of the anatomy as well as physiology. If you have that knowledge of anatomy and physiology, so you can correlate your materia medica with that. You can find it out exactly where the remedy acts, what are normal functions and how it gets affected, and correlate that. So here there are certain features which are given, very vitamin B1 deficiency, thiamine deficiency, and it has a typical picture very close to the Lathyrus sativus. So why not to learn materia medica with a different angle? Why to just mug it up the materia medica? Instead of that, why not to understand the materia medica? This is my suggestion, that correlate the modern science along with your homeopathy. Correlate everything, the anatomy with the homeopathy, the physiology with the homeopathy, the pathology with the homeopathy, the medicine with homeopathy, the surgery with homeopathy, gynec with homeopathy. You can learn a lot and you can correlate the materia medica, then your prescription becomes more clinical, more practical, and it works beautifully in such types of cases. So when you get pathological cases, you must have the knowledge of all those things. Functional is very simple to treat, because in functional disorders you have ample symptoms in your hand. But when you treat, you have to treat the pathological cases, you don't have the symptoms. Then question arises, and that's why Hahnemann says these are called to be one-sided diseases, very difficult to cure, because you don't have a symptomatology or totality with which you can go ahead. Then actually here the question of intellect, question of knowledge, question of understanding, question of perceiving, question of observing comes. You have to correlate all those things, and if you are able to correlate all those things, it definitely helps to improve your results in your patients. My suggestion is that correlate this knowledge of anatomy or modern science with the homeopathy, so that you can get very good results. I used to do that in my practice, and I used to teach the materia medica like that. So whenever any word is there which you don't know, my suggestion is that open your dictionary. Dictionaries are there in your hand now. You put that word and you can find it out on Google, exact meaning, even on Wikipedia, the details of it. Go through that, use your that dictionary forever for you. If you go on learning the materia medica in this style, I am quite sure that you can go ahead with than the allopaths in such types of cases, treating those such types of cases, and you can show your results to the world. And those are very important. So for today's session, just this is the thing which I want to share. The dose given by Boric is only third potency. There are comparative remedies are there, but I don't want to go with that. I have compared the Plumbum metallicum. Here he compares oxytropin, then Sikel, all those remedies. But instead of going to those remedies, better just to think about the Lathyrus sativus. Go through this remedy from basically. You can read it from Borix Materia Medica, you can read it from the Murphy's book, you can find it out in the Clark's Materia Medica, compare it with all its features and understand that remedy in a proper manner. I am quite sure you get such types of cases. There are ample such types of cases in your practice, and you can treat them with the help of Lathyrus sativus. So that's all I want to share in today's Sunday session. So thank you very much for listening me and sharing the homeopathic knowledge. I am very happy to see you all again. I will try my level best to share my things. Thanks once again.